So Mike Rothman, co-founder of Fatherly. Previously, our founding employer, first employee at Thrillist, an online lifestyle guide for young single guys. And I'm also the co-chair of this organization called Career Gear, which is like a dress for success for dudes. And I've been a big brother for 12 years, so marketing to young men is what I've been doing for a while. So the funny thing about marketing to young single guys is that, as this photo would attest, and there's a lot of kind of New York entrepreneurial muscle buried in this photo from a couple years ago, but they become this guy. Whether by design, by accident, or some deep-wired biological imperative, those knuckleheads eventually become responsible for raising the next generation. And that's Neil from Warby, if you guys are familiar. And so all this stuff may be very obvious. What isn't maybe as obvious is that people are having kids a little bit later today. This is a report from the CDC about how the average age for a first-time mother is creeping closer towards 30 in the generations prior. Psychologists are saying that no longer is it your first job or getting married that kind of defines you as an adult, particularly as there's been this kind of generational prolonged adolescence, as the guys from Workaholics would attest. And increasingly, having a kid is really effing expensive. This number here represents the cost of raising one child from 0 to 17, excluding the cost of education, excluding frilleries like swimming lessons, tennis lessons, Chinese lessons, anything else that you might indulge. And these kids are also becoming more multi-ethnic. Over the last 10 years, the number of multi-ethnic respondents on the census has increased 32%. This is beautiful show. And also it's become another revelation of the last 10 to 15 years is the Harvard Grant study, this famous longitudinal study of happiness that actually concluded over the last 10 years, revealed that financial success and happiness later in life is directly related to the strength of the relationship you have with your parents. And increasingly, becoming a parent is a dual responsibility. Men are now taking on a lot of household responsibilities. 60% of families report being dual income, kind of have to be when kids cost that much. But it's also an activity that men are embracing with more relish. There's now 2 million stay-at-home dads as one marker, up from 200,000 10 years ago. And sometimes they watch their kids sing. And because these guys are having kids later, they're having kids when they have a more fully formed kind of sense of self, having a kid isn't necessarily what defines them. They're guys who happen to have kids. And increasingly, they're much more amenable to taking on household chores. A UCLA study reported that the degree to which a couple shares household chores is directly correlated to the amount of sex that the couple has and the longevity of their relationship. But what's shocking to me is that no one is talking to these guys. Every parenting media site that you see is awash in pink and turquoise and speaks either implicitly or explicitly to a young, sassy mom, and often not really even speaking to those parents either. So what do these guys care about? Well, for one, they care about technology and its implications on raising a child in a world that will increasingly be defined by technology. They want to make sure that they have the right products, they're introducing products at the right time, and this is a generation that's very clearly defined by choice, whether how they couple up, how they live together, how they raise children. The challenge isn't kind of breaking social mores, it's what to do with all this choice. And these guys are now kind of bringing this kind of stronger sense of identity, like I'm not changing who I was, to the whole activity of being a father. And this is a longboard stroller that's amazing, it's making its debut in the US in 3 weeks. These guys are also much more willing to share their vulnerabilities and their experiences and their insights and their parenting hacks with other guys like them. This is from a Google group called Weibo Dads. It's an inside Google group of 600 big-hitting guys attending in academia. And so when you're raising kids today, I think this generation understands there's no commandments, there's just best practices. There's evidence-based insights that may work for you or may not. There's no Dr. Spock per se. So into this fold comes Fatherly, the first digital media and commerce company focused on young millennial and young Gen X parents, with a combination of general interest content and age and stage specific recommendations, product services, things that you want to buy for yourself, for your partner, and for your kid. And so with that, Michael Rothman, co-founder of Fatherly, check us out. If you know any dads, people who have dads, Sign them up.